Okay, picture this. You spend millions of dollars on your absolute dream car. I mean, the peak of engineering, the height of design. Now, imagine you get in a wreck and someone tells you that you don't get the final say on how to fix it. Today, we're diving into that exact conflict, this surprising fight between owning something and actually having the right to control it.
This entire situation and what it really means for all of us, it boils down to one simple but really powerful question. It's a question that honestly challenges our whole idea of what it means to own something in today's world.
And there it is. If you need to ask for permission to repair something that you've already paid for, where does your ownership stop and the company's control begin? That is the heart of the debate we're digging into.
So to really get this, we have to step into the world of hypercars. Yeah, we're talking about brands like Bugatti, where the power isn't just under the hood. The real power play, it turns out, often starts long after the car has left the showroom.
You see, when everything is going perfectly, your ownership feels total, right? But the second something goes wrong, let's say you have an accident, that relationship can completely flip. All of a sudden, the manufacturer can step in and become the ultimate gatekeeper to your own property.
So how does this actually play out in the real world? Let's break down the rules of this little power struggle. We're going to set aside the drama for a second and just look at what the disagreement is all about. It really comes down to a pretty simple chain of events. A car gets wrecked. The owner, naturally, wants to fix it, but they don't necessarily want to go through the one official and, as you'll see, incredibly expensive channel. So the brand hits back by restricting access to critical parts. They basically insist that any real repair has to happen on their terms, under their roof. And this leaves the owner just fighting for the simple freedom to choose. And this, right here, illustrates the standoff perfectly. On one side, you've got the owner, who feels like, hey, I bought it, I should have the freedom to decide how it gets fixed. On the other side, you have the brand, demanding absolute, certified control over its creation. It's a classic clash, freedom versus control. Now this is where it gets really interesting, digging into why a brand would take such a hard line. This isn't just about one car or one angry customer. It's about protecting something much, much bigger.
Let's be clear, this is not some simple customer service dispute. No way. This is a strategic business move, and it's rooted in one thing, controlling the car's value, and by doing that, controlling the value of the brand itself.
I mean, think about it. If any talented independent shop could rebuild a Bugatti from the ground up, does the brand's mystique fade a little? If the secret sauce of its creation can be replicated outside the factory, does that dilute what makes it so exclusive? These brands aren't just selling a machine, they're selling a myth, a legend of perfection, and they will do anything to protect that myth.
And protecting that myth, well, it comes with one heck of a price tag. The first estimate to get this car fixed through the official channel was a jaw-dropping $1.7 million.
But that was not the end of the story. Not even close. The owner decided to get an alternative quote. A second opinion from an independent expert. And this is where the real financial stakes of this whole closed system become crystal clear.
Just look at that difference. The manufacturer's quote was nearly 3 times higher than the independent one. That massive gap makes you wonder, is that extra $1.1 million really for parts and labor, or is it the price you have to pay just to stay inside the brand's exclusive club? Of course, when you step outside that official system, things can get complicated. A gray market for parts pops up, and trying to keep track of every single component becomes a total logistical nightmare. Parts can go missing as a car gets shuffled between shops and storage, which creates this messy, untraceable history for the vehicle.
So you can see how this one single conflict just sucks in so many different players. You've got the brands who want total control, the owners who want their freedom, the content creators who are documenting the whole thing and demanding transparency, and of course you've got the internet, which is just here for the drama and the chaos. Everybody has a dog in this fight.
But at the end of the day, the power dynamic is incredibly simple. The manufacturer's ultimate leverage is its complete monopoly on parts. If they control the supply chain, they can effectively control what an owner is and is not allowed to do with the very thing they own.
This whole story about one car is really the perfect way to understand a much bigger idea that's taking hold. This new reality of ownership, where the line between physically possessing something and actually having permission to use it is getting blurrier every single day. This whole thing really forces us to rethink what luxury even means anymore. We're starting to realize that the old definition is just not cutting it. It's no longer just about how much something costs.
In this new world, luxury is defined by the rules that dictate what you can and can't do with the thing you just bought. The more exclusive the item, it seems, the more restrictive the rules.
And what's the highest form of luxury? It's being granted permission. Permission to buy it, permission to use it, and yes, permission to repair it. The product itself almost becomes less important than your membership in that very exclusive club.
This brings us to the key term for this whole phenomenon, conditional ownership. It's basically a model where you pay the full price for something, but the manufacturer hangs on to control over key parts of its life long after you've taken it home.
Now, it's really important we frame this the right way. The point here is not to bash any single company. Not at all. This is more of a warning about a much broader trend that's affecting everything from farm tractors to our smartphones.
Because when you get right down to it, the right to repair and the right of ownership are completely intertwined. Once a company takes total control of the repair process, they are fundamentally changing what it means for you to own their product.
And all of this leaves us with one final big question to think about. As this model of conditional ownership becomes more and more common, we have to ask ourselves, are we really buying products anymore? Or are we just paying a very, very high price to rent access to a brand's world, where we have to live by their rules?